Could you imagine a world where there was no light? It'd look a lot different. Thankfully, though, we have our sun. My name is Ethan Knight, and today I want to take a little time with you to talk about how important it is to soak up that precious sun we have. I grew up in East Texas, and so I spent a lot of time outdoors and playing sports and doing hikes and, yard work. My dad was like, hey boy, you're going to be outside. And so I got plenty of sun and I have a decent tan. Nowadays, though, people don't spend as much time outside. We work inside, we play inside. Technology has allowed us to put off our work in a different sense. Jobs are not necessarily physical or outdoors. We spend a lot of time looking at computers. So how important is the sun to our daily life? Well, that's something I want to explore with you today.
It is?
It is something I want to explore with you as I fix this real quick and get us caught back up. There we go. So, let's take a step back and really think about what our sun is. Now, it would be ignorant of me to assume that you don't know what the sun is, considering you live on Earth and you are all intelligent humans. But what does it really do for us? Well, number one, it gives us light, like I already talked about. But number two, it is a driving factor of life on the Earth. The sun not only warms our planet, but allows for the growth of plants, animals, and even ourselves. So what does that look like? Well, for plants it allows photosynthesis, creates food, and then therefore they put off oxygen which allows us to breathe. But for us, it comes in the form of UVB radiation. Now the sun gives off two types of radiation, that ultraviolet UV. Type A and type B. Now today I'll focus a lot more on type B because it's the part that pertains to us. Now, type B radiation is soaked up by our skin. And you say, okay, that's probably all radiation is soaked up by skin in any form of fashion. What does that really, okay, that's like every other one. Well, this one in particular produces vitamin D, which is an extremely important vitamin to our health. Now, this right here is a diagram put together by the University of Harvard, health.harvard.edu, and it shows a little diagram of UVB radiation coming in, and it is processed by your liver and your kidney and all those important organs in your immune system. Now, I'll get a little more into what that looks like benefit-wise a little bit later. But right now, what if we don't have that? What are the consequences of not getting enough vitamin D? Well, number one is your immune system is going to be a little weaker. You may not, process things as well. You might feel ill, under the weather, things like that. It can also lead to decreased bone density and osteoporosis and even fractures in the skeleton, which I thought was very interesting because I always assumed vitamin D was mainly a skin and organ type of vitamin. I didn't think it went that far into our systems. Excuse me. And it can even lead to an increased risk of cancer, that being colon, breast, and skin cancer. Well, not skin cancer, excuse me. Colon and breast, and along with prostate cancer. So, if we need it, how much is the right amount? Well, people will tell you to not spend too much time in the sun, mainly because of that UVA that I was talking about before. UVA is the bad type of UV that you don't want. That's why tanning booths are so bad for you, because you get too much of that in a too close proximity. And so what does that look like for us? Well, each person, it varies how much time you should be in the sun. Generally speaking, you want about 5 to 15 minutes. That's usually what it takes to get your adequate amount of vitamin D and sunlight for the day. And so some of the easiest things to do for that is to make it a habit for yourself. Do something you enjoy. Take a walk, maybe read a book outside, eat your lunch outside. do things that make it easier for you in order to get your sunlight and get your vitamin D. The last thing you want is to not have enough. So I've talked about the bad. I've dumbed down what it is. You're ready for the good part, right? What can it do for you? And according to selecthealth.org, it will, number one, strengthen your immune system. As I showed in that diagram before, the immune system is incredibly dependent on your amount of vitamin D. We talked about your deficiencies and things like that. But it also strengthens your skeleton, like we talked about with the fractures. And the main reason of that is because of the ability vitamin D does to regulate and condone cellular growth at a level. At the cellular level, I should say. It pushes for those types of processes. Now, on a larger level, from what we can see, it has a lot more of a mood benefit. You know, in North Idaho specifically, in the winter seasons, you see that some have the drowsiness, the seasonal depression, those kind of things that come up, and you're like, well, why is that? Well, it's the lack of the sun. You have your, for example, I know in my room, right on my desk, I have like a sun lamp. You know, when it gets dark, and a lot of that has to do with the decreased amount of sun. UnityPoint.org, a health organization, shows that through studies, it actually will improve your sleep also. There's something about your body and its regulatory processes that when it's darker outside, or when you spend less time in the light, you spend in the dark, your body increases the amount of melatonin that it has, which makes you obviously more tired, you're groggier, you're not able to function as well. Back to along with improving your mood, spending time in the sun has been shown to improve your serotonin levels in your body, so it'll make you happier, you'll feel more energized, those kind of things. So it'll be easier to go about your day when you've got a little bit of sunlight. You know, sometimes we get too bogged down, we stress ourselves out. It's easy to just pop out for a second, recharge, go back into what we're doing. So, like anybody sitting out at the beach in the sun, you don't want to get burnt, so I'm trying not to burn your ears off now. Wrap it all up real quick for you. In this day and age, it's more important than ever to be conscious and knowledgeable about our health. We're told all these things by the news, and we have something else over here that's telling us, but it's important to take care of ourselves, because in the end, we're responsible for what happens to ourselves. So I just want to encourage you, get your sunlight. It's nature's relief for you. Spend time in the sun, get the adequate amount, don't get too much, but refuel your body to its optimal level. That way, you can shine like the sun. Thank you.